we will start seeing the new board. So I need to entertain a motion to adjourn sign die.
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Sure.
second. Mrs. Lombacher?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yeah.
Mrs. Dixon?
Yeah.
Mrs. LaBelle? Yes. Mr. Crouch?
Yes.
All right. At this time, I will appoint Quinn to be the president for temp board.
Yep.
Okay, go for it, buddy.
Okay, so I'm gonna take over here. We are going to call this meeting to order at 50 PM. We are doing a reorganization of the board. This is a regular board meeting. There is a quorum presence. Can I get a roll call, please? Actually, it's
No,
the current board still.
the current board?
No, I
No,
don't.
I lied.
But they haven't done the.
Yep, we're gonna do the oath.
Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
And then we'll do a roll call. So those of you that are leaving,
Are you running? Are you?
No, I'm gonna sit.
Adios.
Row, baby.
I think Jason might run.
Yeah.
We're like, ha ha, soccer.
all right, at this time, can the three new board members please come up? Mr. Crouch, thank you so much. Great night.
Big moment.
Yeah.
No, it's standing up by each other.
Oh, there she is.
Do we go to a seat?
Just,
Just stand, I think just stand in front of him.
yeah, you just stand.
Just stand.
You just recite the oath together. We're not gonna do it one by one. It's a lot easier. Okay, just gonna sit there.
You said 3 new board members.
Well, I mean, but you're.
4.
Stay there. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
There we go. Tina, start them off.
I,
Go ahead.
Nina Anderson, and again, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education of the Prairie Hill School District in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability. I further affirm that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets. I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees. I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting. I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels. As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district. I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course of the Prairie Hill School District. I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. I will strive to ensure continuous of student achievement in all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law. I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our schools to advance the vision of the Prairie Hill School District and will strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district toward fulfilling the vision the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
This is your first test. Where are you gonna sit?
We were just talking about it.
We really have.
For the record, that is the oath provided by the Illinois Association of School Boards. So it's not something we made up. That's the link that it is. So apologies.
You children, there's going to be a test on it.
Welcome to the game. Okay.
weird.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Nikki, at this time, we do need a roll call now.
Okay, Mrs. Allenbacher,
Here.
Mrs. Eichler,
Here.
Mrs. Anderson. Here. Mr. Shuckman,
Here.
Mrs. Dixon,
Here.
Mrs. Finnegan,
Here.
Mr. Keller.
Okay, now we come to the election of officers part of the new board. So what I will do is I'll throw out one of the officers and then you will nominate. If there are more than one nomination, then we will just do a hand vote on who wants to be it. If there's only one person, then that will be the person that gets elected to be the officer. So to start, we will start off with the president. Is there anybody that wants to nominate somebody?
I vote Kim.
Sounds good.
Anybody else they'd like to nominate besides Mrs. Allenbacher? Okay,
Everybody heard the rules. There'll be no resignation. There'll be no crying at the table. The only rule.
all right, so Mrs. Allenbacher will now be president. Can I get a nomination for vice president? And it's your board.
I was like,
Anybody on the board?
okay, here goes. I mean, I hadn't thought about this very much at all until this moment, but I do think it's gonna be very interesting that we have such a, feels like a large amount of new people, which is awesome. And I think in years past, we've taken our time like easing newbies in a little bit, but I feel like because there feels like a lot at one time, I kind of feel like I should just throw one of you right into the mix and really like make sure you get your feet running right away. So I guess I'll nominate Cody Chuckman as vice president. I just think. Yeah, I think something had to happen.
Anybody have any others? Okay, congratulations, Mr. Schleckman. You're the vice president.
All right.
All right, and secretary will be the final officer that you need to determine.
Did one, you guys. I nominate Tina Anderson.
Any other nominations? Okay, Tina, you are secretary. Congratulations on you. All right, Kim, I will pass it to you now. And so just so we're clear as a board, or you're clear as a board, now that we do the committee of the whole, we don't necessarily need subcommittee structures. However, if you want to keep it continuing the way that it is, and you want to nominate people for policy, building and finance, and education and transportation, you're able to do that. If you just want to have one individual that's in charge of it. So there's a couple different ways that you can do it. So I'll leave that to you as the president. And I'll just have the people, those will be their expertise in.
Can I ask first, are we certain we're gonna keep this structure?
Question?
I've enjoyed it.
I just, you kept saying we were gonna try it out, so.
Yeah, it was, that was our conversation.
Decided that's what we're gonna stick with.
Yeah, and that's for you as a board. What's that? Yeah.
How long have you been doing it? Have we been doing it?
Yeah, there you go.
January?
Was it?
February, March.
February.
March, yeah.
And April.
Oh,
In April,
so 3 times we already.
Gotcha.
And the structure was before was 3 separate committees, 3 separate times, 3 separate days, or whatever. What we were finding, the reason for switching to the committee of the whole, we were finding where there were a lot of members who wanted to know a lot more about more than just finance or more about policy than just their committee. So it made sense at the time to have the committee of the whole structure to determine, or so everybody was basically on the same page to have those conversations.
Because, yeah,
We
building
would
and
hear-
finance would talk about a bunch of stuff, or Ed would talk about a bunch of stuff for an hour in a committee meeting during the week. And then the next week we'd come to board meeting and the other board members would ask questions, rightfully so. But then we found we talked about each thing for almost another hour again. So we were just duplicating conversations, really was.
Because we weren't finding out about other committees conversations until we got here.
until we got here.
We
So
were like,
then,
wait, what?
yeah,
And then you're kind of voting on something.
Yeah.
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 And with the committee of the whole, it is a true committee meeting. There's no actionable items.
Can't
So
vote on
you're not voting.
Mhm.
It's just pure
It's-
discussion.
It's one long meeting.
It is.
But normally, tonight's not normal. Normally, a really, really short board.
The board
meetings,
meeting.
Where it used to be, and for you were having to meet with all these different
Correct.
meetings, committees.
Yeah.
I think everybody's time is better spent.
I do too.
The only downside I heard is that the audience doesn't get, but they could come to the committee.
Yeah, it's no-
but they don't.
Yeah.
But I vote to keep it the same. Committee of whole, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think
Yep.
it's worked good and it can always be changed too, you know.
Makes sense to me. Less double work.
So with that being said, I do think, I don't know that I was imagining that we would nominate people for those specifics, at least at this time.
Yeah.
I almost think getting into a committee of whole meeting and talking and seeing where our interests were and kind of how it would lay out, because again, I really think it would only come into play when maybe a board member is doing a little bit of work outside of a meeting, you know what I mean?
Say for policy.
Policy has a lot of reading and research before and after all the meetings, so. Again, I think for them, it's for a policy member, sorry. When you do it like we just nominated you, but for Justin and staff previously, they always were doing the other work. I think in the future, it won't be as often that we'll need those specific, like. groups.
Yep.
If there's a really important finance thing, you know.
Well, I
Tina's
would like to
probably gonna
stay on the
look at.
finance.
Yeah, I was like, Tina's always, as a finance person, Tina's always gonna be reviewing our finance stuff. But there are a few of us that could probably,
I guess it would make sense just if we have something that a board member has to do, that we know who's going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether they're on some committee.
I agree. Are we fine, like, having a committee of whole and talking, you know, and seeing how the conversation goes to see what people's interests are first, or are we just gonna nominate right now?
Or does anyone know?
As a new board member, I would prefer to have a committee of the whole so that we could understand what these three parts are
Right, that's what.
and what they're doing before we
I mean,
Before you volunteer for something.
put on to a team or whatever.
So I think Justin should stay on policy. I'll stay on finance and you were on education. And so then you can each pick one. How's that? Okay?
If everybody's meeting together as the committee of a whole, does it matter all that much if you're on a committee?
so I'll give
A
an
little bit.
example of what for sure is going to be at the next committee of the whole meeting for policy. We just had what is called a press update or release. It has some acronym for something, but it's really just the IASB, the folks who are looking at the laws that are passing, figuring out how policies are changing at kind of whole state of Illinois level. They go through, they do their own 5-year review to make sure they don't have to change any language or update anything. They also have new laws that come in, so they might create a brand new policy. They might have significant changes to an existing one. And they put together this bundle of updates that we will be discussing when we get to the board meeting. But if no one's looked at that before the board meeting,
Because we have to update all ours.
we're just gonna have to read through this thing and go, okay, what the heck is all this stuff? So that's where I see it from policy being beneficial to have some people who know that when
Yeah.
press comes out,
That's-
we should read it, we should understand it, we should have our questions ready. So we aren't just sitting there reading this document for the first time at a committee of the whole.
I think the same analogy would work for, like, you know, during the audit or financial report time, that would be something, if there was something that this plan needed help on or just wasn't sure of or wanted to report, he would typically report that to Tina as finance. But for the most part, I think in our general committee of the whole meetings, it won't be pertinent.
I will say too, typically, and you can as a board decide this in May or June, what you want next board meetings to look like as far as dates and times. Typically, it's always been the last Wednesday of the month, and we move the committee of the wholes to the 2 weeks before the Wednesday. That said, I'm gonna send an email to all of you tomorrow That Wednesday night is a band concert. So if there are members on the board that have kids in band, we might want to move it to maybe that Tuesday or that Thursday or look at a different time. So there is flexibility there, but that's typically what it's been. But as a board, you will, I would say probably May and June will be pretty much the same as they are now. And then in June, you can decide moving forward in July if you want to keep the same dates, times, all of that thing. So what that works best for the board.
Right. Does anyone have conflicts or issues with Wednesdays at 5:30?
Thing regular for sure.
All right, so if we'll hold off on any specific committee members nominations or anything like that. We're gonna jump right into executive session. So I need to entertain a motion to discuss appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. 2C1, negotiations, 2C2.
So moved.
So
Second,
Mrs. Wallbacher,
yes.
Mrs. Eishek.
Yeah.
Mrs. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Scheckman,
Yes.
Mr. Keller,
yes.
Mrs. Finnegan.
Yes.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.